Are live on both OBS Studio and on Teams. Hmm? Hey, Raymond. Raymond's here. Hi, Raymond.
Hi, Professor. How are you guys tonight?
We're pretty good. We had a long day meeting with Nat Geo folks and strategizing. I showed them your story that we put in the ARC story, and they loved it. And a lot of ferment and ideas floating around. It's a bit of organized chaos trying to pull everybody together to launch this curriculum. But that was a great piece. It came at just the right time to show how we're engaged together to conceive of this. Because the idea is everybody tells their own story, or makes up the story of an animal in their neighborhood or passing through their neighborhood. So it's one of those pull out all the stops, use every technology possible. What we're trying to do on our part in anticipation of their meeting is create an animated bear for Roblox. That's what I'm going to be showing my wife tonight.
Excellent. I just saw your Roblox video, and that's coming along really nice.
Isn't it? So I have to see if I can do the same thing with the bear. So I'm going to flip over. If you don't mind, I'm going to jump in because I'm recording this in OBS Studio, broadcasting live. That's fine. You can use that version of Blender. But it is better to get the 3.4. You can use that one. Okay, so do you mind if I jump into Blender?
Do your thing. I'm just going to watch.
Okay, so you can see it, right?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, good. So just let me know if you can't see something or can't hear something, because I'm recording this so that we can see whatever mistakes I make as I blunder through Blender. But recently I had a thing called Tiger Blend, which is, and then I had this one called Boned Bear, where I made a bear, and I don't have to save this. So this was my bear, and I made these bones myself. So you don't have that, but what I can do in us is I can send this file to you in, what can I send it to you in where you can receive it on there? Let's see, this boned Blair, this is contained in my OneDrive folder. Let me see if I can attach it to USF as a OneDrive file. So let me go to, or you know what? No, give me a hard drive and I'll send it to you on the hard drive. Or can I upload stuff to Teams? I wonder if Teams lets me upload stuff to it. No, unlikely.
Yeah, you can select the Files tab there next to the posts, and we upload things all the time. There you go.
How big are the things that you can upload?
Well, we're just sending files, Excel spreadsheets, documents, PDFs, and that sort of thing. How big are these Blender files, these renderings you're doing?
Let me see. I'm going to upload it in OneDrive and let's see how big it is. So my thing is in Documents. It's in Documents. It should be in Blender Models, and then it will be in Blender GIS files, and then I think, let me look at it again. It is at Blender GIS files, FWC animal models. So let me go to where I was. I was here meeting in Teams. Nope, I need files. FWC animal models, and then it is bare boned blend. It is 1 gigabyte, 1.5 gigabytes. So 1,542 kilobytes. I guess we can just try, right?
Yeah, I guess that would be interesting to see. That way we can all share it and
access.
access.
No, it's not that big at all. It says 1.51 megabytes. Inas, can you get into my class?
Which one?
The climate class.
Did you once invite me?
I might have. And see if you can download it, Raymond, while you're there, if you don't mind troubleshooting, so we can see how this works.
I think you once invited me.
I think I did invite you once.
Let me go to my USF.
I can manage the channel and give, no, it doesn't work like that. Add a, get link to channel. I can send you this link.
No, I guess I could. Okay, just need a second.
Because that would be good if we can share files through Teams. I didn't ever think of that.
Bound. It keeps asking me to find
I'm also gonna share this with you and us in our climate group.
second. I always say do not ask for 6 seconds. Just ask
I don't know.
every time.
So if I go at Inas, there you are, and then I can say this is the Teams channel for our climate class. All right. And then theoretically, I should be able to,
I have a message.
if I go to files, where did it go? Did it show up? I can do search and go bear.
I'm reading my thing.
Search messages people. So Raymond, do you happen to know when you put a file into a Teams class, where does it end up showing up?
It should show up right there underneath the Files tab.
Is it possible that,
but-
oh no, it's possible that it's in OneDrive.
Oh, you're
That's
in the
why.
OneDrive. Okay, standby. Let's see. Do I have access to that?
Good question. Otherwise, I'd have to bring it into where? So maybe not. Maybe it's oh, it says private. Now how do I make it unprivate? One selected. Open in OneDrive, copy link, move. If I move it and I move it to browse teams and channels and put it into climate mitigation and adaptation class and put it in general, it's not allowing me to move it. Oh yes, it does. In general. All right, so now if I go to files, still doesn't show up. I've just never done this this bringing files.
No, you did it.
did?
Whatever you did, it just appeared.
Oh right, under files in general. Okay,
Correct.
there it is. Okay, can you get that in us?
Where is it?
It's in files in the class.
Files. I'm getting into Teams.
And then if you right click on it, what application would be the best to try to open that?
It'll only open in Blender.
Oh, well, standby. Yeah, I won't be able to use that yet until I get the new computer. But still,
Right.
it's nice that you're able to share it.
Yeah, and it says share with other people. So if I were to say my wife, let me see if I can.
No, wait a second. Really?
Yeah, I can share it right with you. And I guess you don't need me to share it with you because you already have access to it, right, Raven?
Yep, it's right here. I could share it as well. I may just send it to my son, who has a much more powerful computer than I do.
Okay.
It is against I only post Teams.
Here, climate. You remember?
Yeah, you shared that one time.
All right, now go to files.
Here. Close?
Activity media files right there. All right, now once that comes up, then open Bear Blend. Right there, Boned Bear.
Open it like this. Open it.
Yeah.
Go in.
Uh-huh.
Download.
Download the file. All right, so let's assume that you're able to do that. If we go back to Blender, this is what the file should look like. And again, I put these bones in myself, so I'm not going to say that they're the best in the world.
Here, what am I gonna do?
Open it. But you can see if I do this X-ray thing, if I grab this jawbone here and go to pose mode, and if I were to then take that and I were to rotate it in the X-axis, then I can make his mouth move back and forth, right?
Here it is.
Yeah, you got it, okay.
What am I doing? Waiting.
So what we have to do is, what we're really doing now is just using this, if we see that it'll move, and I can also use the lower back, the hip, the thigh. If I take this hip, the left hip, and I rotate it in the x-axis, yeah, then he can sort of walk. So that hip
Let
moves,
me get my mouse.
right? Same thing if I use the hip, the right hip, and I rotate it in the x-axis, then the right hip moves. So I have the ability to now move this being based on the armature that I've created for him. And I don't think that I have all of the legs, do I? What's going on? Why is this leg? Let me look again at this. There's supposed to be, this is a, yeah, that, which one is that? That is,
Can I, do you want me to open both blenders, the program and the file, or is it crazy?
let me just see if I can, right, so he's moving. I don't see where all the other, must be caught in another part of the program because I don't see where it's listed. Like I see his spine, then the thigh, and the shin, and the foot, and I see here the thigh and the shin, but I don't see where these bones are located. It's so weird. Yet they should exist. Maybe it's under the spine. There it is. Neck, clavicle, upper arm, okay, lower arm. So these are all the bones that I created for him so that you could have subtle movements if you wanted to. But you can do an animation in Blender, but I think we're going to try to do the animation in Roblox. So what we're really going to try to do is we're going to select out of pose mode, we go back to object mode and select both the bear and the bones.
Wait a second, object.
So you have to kind of click in between the mesh to get that bone. It's hard to do, but there's the bones.
I come to object, in object mode.
Yeah, go to the wire mesh. It's easier to see, which is over here. There's all these different modes.
This?
Yeah, go to the wire mesh and then click on the bones. You have them now. Click on the actual shift click on the mesh so that you have
All of
both
it
the
like
bones.
this?
Yeah, so everything's selected. Or alternately, you could have just hit A because there's nothing else in the scene. Normally you wouldn't do that because if there, well, see, there's the camera. We don't want that. So we have to delete the camera.
Wait a second.
But I don't want to delete the
Then
camera because the
again.
camera is what I'd use if I wanted to make a movie. So I want the camera. So the thing is, don't hit Control A to select everything. Just deselect everything by clicking anywhere in the screen. Rotate around to make sure your camera's not selected. And use your bounding box just around the bear, and that should select everything.
Like this.
Yeah. If it didn't, you can always check it by doing this procedure where you click on the bones to see that you got them, and then shift click the mesh. But you have yours, you're fine. So now that we have that, and we've seen that it can work, we're gonna go to export FBX. But let's also make sure that we've decimated the mesh. So let's click off of it. We had
Wait a
that problem.
second. What do you want?
Just click on the mesh because we had that problem with the tiger, remember?
On the mesh alone?
Yeah, click on the mesh alone and then go to the modifier here where it says, let's see, down here, I need to move this up. Down here, there's a modifier that looks like a wrench, and it's already got armature, but we also want to add a modifier and put in decimate, which is over here. Yeah, add one by going to add modifier up there, up top, yeah. And then go down to the generate and go decimate. And then the ratio says 1. Notice if you bring it all the way to 0, the bear turns into one triangle. So you want to get the most reasonable bear that is small, that still looks like a decent bear.
Yeah, that's true. So I put it 1.
No, one is too big.
0.
So you see how like 0.03 is a totally triangulated bear. No, you don't want that. But 0.5 kind of looks okay to me.
0.05?
That looks okay to me.
No.
It's still smooth.
0.05?
0.05.
It's like, look, it's not good.
Oh no, 0.5, like literally 0.5, which is half. But maybe we can do 0.3. Let's see what 0.3 looks like.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And it's smaller.
Yeah, good enough for government work, as they say.
Look, this is 0.5. What we want 0.3?
Yeah, 0.3 still looks decent. It's not so bad. Right?
How do we change it to this?
Did you already do it? But you know what we should have done? Actually,
I put
go to
0.3.
1, go back to 1, select the entire bear and its mesh,
Back to 1.
and then go Shift D to duplicate. That way we can keep a copy of the bear at full resolution, and then we can select just this bear. Whoops, I got to move that light out of the way. Get that light out of the way. Okay. I can select the whole bear and then decimate this bear.
Wait a second. Control D? Is it
Shift D.
Shift D. Okay.
So, Professor, essentially what you're doing is reducing the file size to make it transferable.
Yes.
Copy. Understood.
Because whenever you start working with this with animations in a program over the internet, if it has to load thousands and thousands of polygons, then the math that it has to do will crash machines. It'll take time for the download. So you really want to have the smallest poly count. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg got laughed at and criticized when he released Meta Horizons World Builder, and they showed a picture of him in front of the Eiffel Tower as an avatar, and people said he looks like 1990s technology. He wanted everybody on the Oculus to be able to participate, so he made the poly count, the polygonal count, really low. And it just looks crappy when people are used to playing full resolution video games, you know? But his justification was, well, do people really need to see full realistic avatars and worlds if I'm trying to get everybody in the world able to play? So he had good intentions, but nobody liked it. So we're trying to get a mixture of kind of photorealism with still transferability.
Are we working on the copy?
So yeah, work on the copy, and then from the copy, which I'll call
Wait a second.
bare bones.
Where
Bare
can I
bones.
see
That's funny.
Where is the copy?
Bare bones
Where is it?
decimated.
Which one is the?
And then this one here is the armature.
Which one is the copy? What is the name of that?
What's the name of it? It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever you select, you're just going to select one of them. And this
But
one
where do I see
here.
the name? Like when I rename, where is it?
Oh, it's somewhere down in there somewhere.
I go to item.
You know, I'm not even all that sure. The object is called bare bones decimated, and then the yeah, didn't change. The object is called bare bones decimated, and then the armature is to that object. So what I'm really trying to do is take that mesh and
You don't find a modifier.
don't worry about it, just select it. Just select the bear. Yep, do that, and then go just to the mesh. Go just to the mesh. Now you'll get the modifier. Now I'm going to take that ratio and bring it down to whatever seems to look decent. Like that's too many cartoony polygons.
And then what you want me to put? 0.3, 0.3 or 0.5?
I think 0.3 actually is decent.
Is that?
Yeah.
I think it's not that decent.
You want to go to 0.4? Do 0.4 for yours.
Let me see.
I mean, you obviously get more detail, more resolution the higher you go up. If you do 0.5, the teeth come in really nice.
I want to make.
All right, do 0.5. Okay. So we have this at 0.5. The other thing is this is going to be absolutely way too huge. So once you've gathered that and I work in the mesh mode, you know that you're selected everything. You then hit S on this guy.
And wait a second. And
Yeah.
the bones.
Shift click. Yeah, there you go. Now hit S and scale it way down in size. And you can see the scaling if you look
Does it
at
have to be too small?
it should be it should be pretty small. It's going to come in huge in
But
Roblox.
but it arrived too small when.
It did arrive too small.
I think you
So
should make it too small because it's a.
try then 0.05 on all of the scale parameters. 0.05. It's on item up there. And then 0.05 in here.
Scale on.
There we go.
All of them? X, Y, Z?
Yeah, X, Y, and Z. Otherwise it'll be really distorted.
You want
Oh, but
it
look what happened. The bones got way out of place.
0.5 for all of them?
Yeah, but I have to do the bone scale
Oh,
too.
no, it's not working. Look. What is that?
Yeah, that's because you did one part of it, not the whole thing. It's like if you do one part, it's like. Ugh. All right, so I don't want to do that because I've messed up my
Hey, you've
bones.
made it big.
Yeah, but it's not working because the bones remain tiny. So I don't think we can do it by using the item because that only does one item at a time.
Where is undo here?
Undo is Control Z. So what we'll have to
The
do is
same?
just do it manually and then watch it scale.
It's not doing it. TH,
Yeah.
where is undo here?
Control Z. You
I did.
have to do it. Click away from it.
Okay, wait a second. No, we're good. You're removing.
All right.
Did
So
we decimate?
the
Oh,
only
you
way to
changed
see
it for me.
what it looks like here. Where is the? I'm gonna see where the
Is it 0.5? Okay.
in transform. Okay, there's transform. That shows me the scale, but that isn't moving either when I'm
And
doing
then
both
you wanted to
object.
do S?
Yeah, because
Small.
you can't see the numbers because we're selecting 2 items at a time, and it doesn't. Oh, it does dimensions when you do that. That's what's changing is the dimensions. Okay, so we can tell the dimensions to be 0.05. It should do both now. 0.05. Ooh, gosh.
How do you remove
0.05.
it down?
Ah, no, don't do dimensions. Don't ever do a single object. It's really weird.
Like this? It's good? This is good or no?
Yeah, you have to do it by hand. So,
I did with the S.
okay, yeah, with the S. That seems to be the best way because
Do you
it
have
really
to
gets
put
confused.
it to change the position or it doesn't matter?
No,
Because you're going to move
no,
it.
we're going to move it. So let's save our file first of all so that we don't lose something. And I'm set at a scale of 0.07. Oh, it's really weird, the scale. So whatever it is, we'll know when we get it out there. Another thing that we have to do is go to Object, Set Origin to Geometry.
Wait a second. Where is that?
Select your whole bear. And then that little dot there is the origin, and it's not balanced. So go to Object, select the whole thing, go to Object, and go Set Origin to Geometry. Yeah, good. Now it's inside the bear. All right. So we're ready to export. If you save it, to export, you go to Export as an FBX, and then you say Selected Objects Only.
FBX?
Mm-hmm. Export as FBX file.
I don't see FBX.
And then the scale, you'll have to say Apply Transform.
Where is it now? FBX and then export FBX without saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do I do anything? Scale is is 1.
No, just try scale 0.05
That's
for
not.
the
That's
transform.
less than a half.
We're going to see what this does.
It's a little bit.
Well, why don't you try?
0.05.
You try yours, and I'll try mine
With what?
with a different transform.
With the same scale?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try the same scale and export.
So I'm going to do Bone Bear FBX. I'm going to say this one's scaled. I'm going to call this because I have several that I've done before.
I just
Scaled.
didn't change anything.
Right? You don't change anything. Mine is called scaled 0.05. Just so or just 05. Because I can't put a point in because it needs the dot for the .fbx file. So when I export that into here, I am now ready to go into Roblox Studio and open that up.
Roblox Studio.
And once we've got this procedure down, then it'll just be cookbook, and we'll write that up as step 1, step 2, step 3. But while we're figuring it out, of course, it's a bit of chaos. Then I'm going to go to character morph test, and I have to open this up and give you collaborative permission to enter. So there's my place. I'm going to go to collaborate and turn that on. Add users. Are you Inas? What's your name as a user?
I changed it.
Are you Inas Rasmuha?
No.
What is your name?
It's
Should be my friend. Yeah.
No, I just friended you today. I started a new one.
Oh, what's it called?
It's EN and then B.
There's no result. You sure?
Yeah.
Not ENBLAS?
No.
Show me. Show me who you are.
Where?
I'm over here on the right. What does it say over there? EN. That's what you are. But you don't show up. Maybe
It's LAXS.
LAXS? Like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
ENBLAXS?
Yeah. This is a. I sent you a friendship request today. You should
Oh.
see it. I couldn't access the old ones with the old email.
Oh, let me see. It says I have a request. Accept from NBlackS. You're now my friend. So does that let me collaborate with you? ENBLXS. Still ain't bringing you up. There you are. You came up. All right, you have the permission to edit this game. So I save. Now you should be able to come into
Where
this,
is it?
but I'm not sure how. You are, if I go to,
My games, these are not. This is just,
that's your place. No, but game settings,
do I add a game?
permissions. I'm going to make this playability. Who can play this? Public, friends. Anybody on can play it. But then if I go to game settings and I say permissions, that's different. Basic info, genre, avatar, world, other.
What's it called?
Enable collaborative editing. Okay.
Share with me.
Server needs to restart once all editors have left this
You gotta
session.
share it with me? Like, is that what
Yeah, I
it
gotta
is?
leave it and come back in. So I need to close place. I guess I just close down this and then restart it. You know, Raymond, I was asking Dan Kinzer from Nat Geo about collaborative ArcGIS story map, and he said that it's a difficult feature. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if you've found out anything more about that.
No,
I haven't, but I imagine some of it has to do with format. So many people use PC versus Mac, and I wonder if that's part of the issue.
It may be, and what he said it might have a lot to do with it has so many different assets it can bring in, like different maps from different organizations and GIS space shape files and all that. So he said they just, I think they gave up on it. Okay, we're in us. All right. Okay. One thing I'll show you, Raymond, is that we tried.
Did you look at my computer?
No, not yet. We've tried to make a panther out of blocks here, but it's really hard to do it in Roblox. Like we used this reference image and we started to shape it up using balloons basically. But the bear is from a Blender file, and this is one of the bears. But now I'm going to bring in another bear that we just did. So I'm going to go to Avatar Importer. No, I don't want that. I want 3D Importer. Let me see. Import 3D file. So if I import this 3D file and I saved it as a file in downloads. No, it's not. It's in documents. Blender models. Blender GIS files. Florida Wildlife Corridor. Where's that? Animal models. And there's my boned bear scaled. Now when I bring that in, it says that everything looks okay. It's not giving me any file geometry problems, file transformed problems, avatar general. The rig type is custom. It uses cages, but it's giving me an error message, a warning about the jaw. And I'm not sure what the warning is. but it's just a warning, which means it doesn't mean that it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna bring it in, and it came in really super. Oh, it says asset name rejected by. Wow. Oh, you know why? I gotta change the name. It's here and it got in, but it didn't like the name. The word boned is considered rude because they don't like anything that has a sexual reference. So I think that that's the problem. It doesn't like the name of the bear of the name of the model. Isn't that something? So I'm going to. Oh, and the other three. The reason the jaw didn't work is because the jaw probably is not part. But I thought I made it part of it. That's weird. Okay, never mind. It's part of it. We'll try it again. I'm gonna go, and it's way too small. So this time I'm going to export it as an FBX selected, but I'm not going to do 0.05. I'm going to do the scale at 0.1 instead, so it'll be twice as big. But I'm not going to call it boned bear because it doesn't like that. I'm going to call it bear scaled scaled 0.1 with skeleton.
I'm into
Oh,
it.
just skull. Then I'll know it's skull. Oh, you're into my thing? Oh, good. Yes. Oh, good. You are. You're in my thing. That's really cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in this thing again. I'm going to go to import 3D. I'm going to take
How to do it?
bear scaled 0.1 scale,
File.
import it. The jaw still gives me a problem.
Shall I try?
Yeah, you should try to.
Which one?
Go to a 3D import. You're under avatar. So go to your avatar tab, which is up there. Okay, and it really came in tiny.
Import 3D file.
Yeah, it's a really tiny bear.
And then you get
So
some.
I hope yours comes in larger. So
Where
to
is
scale it here, I'm going to grab it and hit the shift key and go.
What's it called?
It's whatever you called it. I don't know, because you have a different thing than mine. So there it is in relation to the tiger.
Bear?
Yeah, let's go a little bigger. But better that it's small than that it's big. Okay, whoops, whoa. Come on, bear. Sit there.
I didn't change it. I didn't change the name. What was the original name?
I'm gonna look at your Blender and see where it exported to. So the bear is not looking great in terms of his color, so I'm gonna see if I can change the color. Yep, I can make him brown. I can make him dark brown. And of course he's supposed to be a black bear, so we'll just make him black.
Where to go? Blender.
You have to look at where it saved it. You have to open Blender and go to Save As or
I didn't
Export.
save.
Export. See when you go Export FBX, where did it go? It went to Downloads.
No.
User Kilian Downloads. All right, so in my case, I have this bear, and I'm going to want to animate this bear. So in order to animate the bear, I've got these bones that I need to use, and I should be able to go to animate, which is under model maybe? Where did I find it last time?
It's so huge.
Close this, I'm going to close this. Is it huge? Yeah, I told you, it's like massive. So you'll have to re-export it. Oh, because you didn't say selected. You exported both FBXs. And you had to do the selected. Now get rid of it. Go backspace. Control Z. Now do it again. Re-export from Blender, but do the decimation. Not the decimation, the scaling. To 0.1 or point.
But wait, it wrote two.
Because you didn't say select. When you went to the FBX, you have to click on selected objects only. And then you have to change the scale from 1 to maybe try 0.5.
Okay. Or is
Yeah.
it 0.05?
No, 0.5, because mine was little and it was 0.1. So having this bear like this, you then go to the animation editor, which is here, and it says select a rig. So I select that rig and I name this bear animation.
How
Or
many
let's say
FPS?
bear walk.
Did I delete that?
And I hit create. And then I have the ability to make this bear walk by selecting one of its limbs. Although that's what I should do is select all the things over here first, add all body, so the whole body is there. And then I can tell it I want the lower back to be a keyframe, and I want the spine to be a keyframe, and I want the neck to be a keyframe, and basically you want to set all of these as
Okay, it's
keyframes.
not very bad. I mean, it's still big.
No, that's okay.
Or
Where is it? Yeah, it's fine. Just move it over.
how
Now
do you
set the
move it? Like,
bone. I want the head to be a
move? Do you have
keyframe.
to change it?
I want the clavicle to be a keyframe. I want the upper arm to be keyframed. I want to have. I wish they'd just let me select all of it. Will
It's
they let me
bigger
select all of
than
it?
them
No, they
tears.
don't.
You can't.
There's no way to select all of it. So I'm just going to keep going down and adding keyframes for each of the things that I want to. Keyframe for that, keyframe for the upper arm there, keyframe for the lower arm, keyframe, and just set two keyframes. Add your keyframe, add your keyframe, add your keyframe. So that's just one time setup thing to get the resting position
Okay.
of the animal. Okay, so place them where you want. Add a keyframe, add a keyframe. And now
Okay,
the bear.
it's here.
Okay, good. So now that you have your bear, go
It has
to
to be
animation
smaller.
editor. I'll make it smaller. Use your scale and use the shift key with the scale. Otherwise, he'll distort weird parts of his body and grab any ball and make him smaller. So now that I have that, oh, that's you. Look at that. That's Inas working with your bear over here in that
That's
yellow
enough,
box.
enough size.
Okay, good. So we
Or
have
it's
that.
It's still big.
And for this walk, I'm going to go to about 9 or 10 seconds in, I guess. I'm not sure where. Yeah, about 10 seconds. And I'm going to grab this arm here, which is I'll do the alt click is better for it, I think. Or is it going to let me even grab it? Come on, let me grab it. And if you can't grab it directly, then I think you just go to, yeah, you can grab it from the name of it. So let me do that instead.
Okay, what do you want now?
Go to animation editor, right there. Yep. And now select the bear. Yep, and give it a name. Select the bear, give it a name. Say whatever animation, like I'm using bear animation.
Is it a black bear it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it's supposed to be black bear.
Florida has only black bear?
Mm-hmm. So if I then rotate this leg, ooh, that's a bad way to rotate it. Where's a better way? Oh, that's the foot. I want to do that.
Okay, got
Upper
it.
arm.
Then what? I changed the name. What do you want me to do?
Start animating. So somehow upper
I don't
arm,
know how to do that.
clavicle, lower arm.
I don't want.
Why is the upper arm left not letting me?
In Inventor, it says you here.
Yeah. I don't want to lower it in position, so that's not to move. I move it in Y. It's just twisting that foot. I move it in X. Ah, there we go. A little bit of, but it's really the upper arm that I want to do, isn't it?
I need help.
You click on the bear.
I did, right?
No, somehow.
Because you're editing it?
No, you should be able to edit your own bone bear. You have to name some bones. You got to add all body. Oh, you have the lower back. What did you click on? Click on that bear again.
How do you?
Mm-hmm. Now go to animation editor again. I don't know why you're not seeing your bones. Watch me for a second, and then we'll figure out what's going on with you. So I'm going to go to the thigh left, if I can find it. thigh. Where's my upper arm? If I go to my upper arm, and let me actually turn this around. Like, that's weird. See, maybe what it's doing is it's interpreting from my view. That must be what it's doing, because if I click on it, my rotation is like really weird. Is it because I'm not doing local? Rotate, select, model, edit pivot, move, collisions. Where's local? Because theoretically I should be able to move this bone here, which is the lower arm, but it's still moving the foot, and I don't want to move the foot. Maybe it's the clavicle I need to move in my model. Yeah, there we go.
This is how it moves.
So it's the clavicle that moves it, not the, I just, because I did these bones myself, I didn't do a great job. But that leg is now forward, and then let me grab this hip bone and move this forward like that. Then if I want to, I can grab this bone and rotate it a bit back like it's being lifted up, and I can do the same thing with this bone here. Oops. And this one up here, go and lift it. Come on, come on. Nope, it's not that one, this one. There we go. I can get it. Okay. So it made a new keyframe, and so it did this. But as you can see, this other leg here isn't supposed to move. If I can grab that. There we go. Whoops, whoa. No, Bear, stop. Stop, Bear. See, basically, that's, oh, shoot.
No.
That's messed up.
What about that leg? Did
I
it
know,
move?
no, it's bad. It's because I'm still stuck on it. There we go.
What about the last one? No, it's not moving. You should add that one too. This one doesn't move.
No, but it shouldn't. I mean, you could. We could make it nudge just a little bit. I mean, this is where you have to be a really good animator, like to know what is the anatomy and how does it move. But that gets those legs forward, and all I want to do is do a basic animation. We can go back and refine it later. But then the next move should be these legs go back to, that goes back there, while this one, while this one goes forward. And maybe grab this bone here, and then do this one goes back. Maybe this one goes a little forward. This one goes, oops. There we go. And then you have that to that, and then I should put this leg again, copy it, paste it there. And then I have basic walk cycle, where you move this back here to make it evenly timed. And by evenly timing it, then I take the resting position. It goes walk, walk. And or do I even need the resting position? Because it'll look weird if he returns to his resting position. If I copy that and paste it, and then I hit loop and I play it. I mean, it's an awkward walk, but at least we can start there and then modify it. The other thing about the animal walking, I'm going to make it a little longer. Make it longer. is that a bear's head would move as he's walking. So you then come into the head, and grab the.
Maybe because you're animating it, I wasn't able to.
That's possible. So if I rotate the head, looking, oops, that's the jaw. No, no, no. Where's my head? And it's possible I didn't make the bones for this very well. I did a very bad job of making the bones, because that's why it's so awkward. Because here, when I grab this part, which is, so if I can get back to the head, spine, neck. There's the neck. It's not letting me really. Oh, there we go. So there's his head turning a little bit there at the end. And in the beginning, if I have his head turn a little bit, that way. Now he's going.
Yeah.
It's like he's sort of looking around, but this is a really crappy animation. But I think you get the idea.
Can you time it?
You
with the head, it's not as fast with his turning his head.
Yeah. Part of what the problem is with this is it doesn't really let me expand easily, and Unity is much better about this, and so is Blender. But it's set. Maybe if I set this animation instead of to 1 second, if I set it to 3 seconds, that doesn't let me.
Maximum is a max.
3. No, it's supposed to give me any amount that I want. 300. There we go. Now I can grab all of these and move them over, then grab all of these and move them over, then grab all of these and move them over. Oops. Like that. Then grab all of these, and then all of these, and then this. And that takes us to 3 seconds. Now if I play around with that, it's a much more loping kind of, he's moving about, and he's looking around, and then he's moving about, and he's looking around. So that's decent, right?
Can you follow?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Okay, so having that, that's called Bear Walk. You save it as new. Call it Bear Walk. The other thing we do with the Bear Walk is we have to publish it. So when we publish it, we call it Bear Walk, and I don't have to give it a description, although if anybody sees it, this is a test for the Florida Wildlife Corridor curriculum. I'll submit it, and then it gives me an ID number, which I'll use in a minute.
Do you copy it now?
I don't have to copy it now. I mean, I can. If I wanted to, I can. Oops. It shows up here on the web for anybody who wants to use it.
You shared it?
Yeah, I shared it. It's total crap, but it can improve. I can change it later. The other thing I do is I pick that same bear, and I go to create another animation.
So it saves the animation as it's a file?
Yeah,
Each
it's a
time
file.
you edit, it's...
You have to publish it, or you can't use it.
It updates the same
Right.
file.
Now, there's only that bear walk so far, so I'm going to go create new, and I'm going to call this bear idle, because there's always at least 2 animations. There's what happens when you move and what happens when you don't move. So this is going to be called bear idle. And the bear idle is sort of simple. Like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to, he's sitting in a position. I'm going to just move it down and up for a second, and then it creates a keyframe. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to make it so that he sort of bends down a little bit, and then I'm going to copy that original frame.
Would it move a little bit, the head?
Yeah, and the head will move too. So now I have this animation that for the starters just does that, but it's way too fast. So once again, I'm going to make it a 3-second animation. So I come over here and change this from 1 second to 3. and then grab these 2 items and move them, spread them out, and spread this out. So now I have a much slower animation where he's breathing, right? So that's kind of cool. The other thing the bear would probably do while he's breathing like that is his jaw would move. So here's where we'll come into the jaw that I made. And I guess that jaw doesn't show up for some reason. But there we go. So his mouth can move. And then when we, oops, whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, I messed up. My mouse is sticking. So if we close it like that, then he goes, "Arr." And then somewhere down here, after he keeps his mouth closed, so I'm going to copy that and paste it toward the middle. Then he's going to open his mouth. He's going to do that anyway by the end, right? So he goes, oh, he's not opening his mouth because I have to open it. So again, I'll go here and I will open it and move that down to here. So now what does he do? He goes, but since it's not the exact position of that bone here, I think I want the jaw to always be the exact same. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and I'm going to paste it into here. That way it should be a smoother animation. And then of course his head would turn a little bit while he's doing this. So let me go back to this head bone. Come on, let me grab this. Why does it not let me grab this?
Do you grab the blue somehow?
No, it's not letting me.
There are so many construction.
No, that's still the jaw. It's this
No,
bone
the
here.
bone,
There we
yeah,
go.
it's a different bone.
So he'd have his head swing like bears do there, and then he'd have it swing that way. So his idle animation is just standing there, and his mouth moving and sort of looking around as he breathes. On the tiger, it was better because there were other bones for his stomach where you could actually make him breathe, and I don't have those. But at least this lets people know that he's alive while he's standing there. Maybe I'll put in a little bit of paw motion here, and I'll have like this foot kind of turn a little bit, like he's just idling a bit, and have this foot turn like it's idling a bit, and somewhere else in this animation have this foot, he's sort of shuffling a bit, and this turn out a little bit, and this one turn in. So you can have a lot of fun with this. So that as he's talking, like you see, his legs are moving just a little bit. It's not very dramatic, but at least it shows that he's alive. And then you do the same.
It's really good. I like that.
You do the same thing here. You say save as, and you give it new, and you call it Bear Idle, and then you export it as publish it to Roblox, Bear Idle, test for Florida Wildlife Corridor Project. And then it gives you a link to it. And then we have to go in and we have to set the actual animations so that it'll play. I'm hoping that this will work, because what I do here is I go to one that's already working. Like my bear does, the other bear works, and we'll test that right now, and then we'll replace the other bear. So this bear, wherever the other bear is, this bear here, when I play my animation, the one that works so far is I land on the ground, I'm this little guy, I go up to this bear, nothing happens, I can just shove him over. That's Anas's bear, that's what she brought in. I go up to this bear, it says change into the bear, and now I can be the bear and I can move around the landscape. The problem is this bear doesn't animate. I change over, if I walk over to the spider, I change to the spider, which I got online, and the spider clearly does animate, and when you stop it, it has an idle where it's really breathing. And then when you walk, his legs move. So that's what I cribbed the information from. That was the model. If I go to the noob and change the character, yeah, now the noob is going to walk, he's going to jump, he's going to do all the things that noobs do. And if the noob goes over to the tiger, he changes. This tiger has an animation that I did, as you can see, and I have an idle animation where he's looking around and his tail is twitching and he's breathing. So now we've got to make this bear do that, and this bear here doesn't have anything. He can just be knocked over. So we stop that animation, go back to the set point. Yeah. So this guy, what he needs is all the information that was in the other bear. And he's the boned bear. Now the boned bear we're getting rid of. Or are we? It's bear morph.
Show me the bear moving.
Oh, you want to see the bear moving? The bear doesn't move.
Doesn't move?
No, not yet.
Your bear.
No, my bear doesn't work yet.
Why not?
Because I haven't set that up. So the boned bear scaled point is the bear that we're working with. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to rename it and make it called bear animated. All right, so that's my bear animated, and it has a bear idle and a bear walk, which is fine, but it's called jaw, and that's not really its name. Its name is bear animated, so that's going to be the name of the actual mesh. In the mesh, there's an animation controller that came in from Blender that has to be eliminated, or it will mess things up. So I'm going to delete that. Now I have just bear animated, and those are the files in it. I'm going to have to take that and make another file. I'm going to have to take all of that, select it all, and save it as group it as a model. That's what I've learned to do. And call this model.
What is this?
This model is going to be called bear animated morph.
I'm kicked out from your editing.
Probably because I don't know. We'll get to it in a second. Let me just make sure this works. And I can show you how to do it, and by repetition we'll do it right. This bear animated morph is going to go into the custom morphs folder that I got from that guy, whose stuff I was following on YouTube. So these are the only, forget the bone bear, the panther, the tiger, they don't do anything. But in here in the custom morphs folder, where he gave me this README and he told me how to set up the stuff, I had to figure that out. In here is the bear morph that we have, but it doesn't have any animation, the cube morph, which is not working for some reason, the noob morph, which we showed is working, the spider morph, which was definitely working, the tiger morph, which is definitely working, which I created last night. So I'll go into the spider morph, and I know that his script needs to be under the name morph. So I'm going to take his script, right-click on it, and say copy, because I don't write script, and go in and paste it into the bear morph. Now here's the script, and it just says take the first child of that and do that and clone it and then make it work. It's his whole thing, and it only works if you do it precisely as this script asks for it to be done. And since I'm not a scripter, I just follow the logic of the hierarchy. So morph script is underneath the spider morph or the bear animated morph, and it works for all of them. He was brilliant. He set it up that way so anybody could make their own animal. So I'm really appreciative to Gnome Code for doing this. Then comes the actual model, which in this case was spider, in my case is bear animated. Open that model up, open his spider up. You can see the next thing under there is a thing called a humanoid. And I don't have a humanoid in there, so I go plus and add a humanoid. So now I got a humanoid. Now I got to look at his humanoid to see what are the characteristics of his humanoid. Parent is spider. It has a scaling, jumping. I just have to make sure that everything I have is the same thing his has. It says root part, humanoid root part. And its rig type is an R6. In my case, I go to the bear animated, go to humanoid. It says R6, but it doesn't have a root part. So I click on it. If it'll let me. Why won't it let me do the root part? Whoa. Why isn't it letting me do that? His has something in it called an animator. So I need to add an animator. So is the animator show up? Animation, there it is,
Yeah.
animator. All right, now I have an animator in there, and the animator says humanoid. Can I now change the root part? Let's see. I go back to humanoid for me. Root part is still grayed out.
Did you have to change in the animator or something?
I don't think I have a root part. So that's my problem. Because his spider has a humanoid root part, and I don't have one. So to get a humanoid root part, what I've learned to do from him is to go back to the character. That's the bear, isn't it? Is this my bear? Get out of the animation editor. How do I get out of the animation editor? Get out, animation editor. Where are you?
There are only two, right?
Get out of the
My
animation
bear
area. There we
got
go.
out.
And how do I select now my bear? There he is. He's selected. So I need to create a humanoid root part. So to do that, I need to create a part under home and insert it. There it is right there. And then I need to move it to the bear. Better, I will not see it if it's black, so I probably should change the color of this part by going to color and make it something pink so I can really see it. I'm going to scale it so that it's within the bear and just let it peek out for a second so I know where I am. So that's the root part. I'm going to name it, because it's now just called part. I'm going to name it humanoid root part and move it into my bear. So there's my bear animated, there's humanoid, and I think I can drop it right onto the bear, so it's a child of the bear animated. So there's where the lower back is and the hip and the spine. It's a child of it, so it should move with that. The other thing he asks us to do is to then rig it so that the humanoid root part has the bear attached to it, so it'll move with it. So what he said to do is to get a plugin called Edit Rig, which I had to download, and then tell it that the humanoid root part and the bear, so I control click the bear, have to be a joint in between them. And you see this these little balls here that are suggesting that there's now a joint connecting that, and I can move it up. So it's sort of saying like, hey, bear body, you're attached to this humanoid root part there. And once I've done that, you see a little binding sign here that says bear animated is part of the humanoid root part. If that is the case, and I've done that, then I look down at what the spider has. It has animate, idle, and walk. So I'm going to copy that script, which he made, and put that in my bear animated. So paste it into there. So now I have that. The only problem is that the idle and the walk IDs are for the spider. So I go to walk and click on it, and I go over to my bear walk, which is showing up under my animation. See, there's my models, and it shows my bear. I have my plugins. It shows the Regedit Lite that I downloaded. I go to my audio. It's got some songs that I put in. I go to my images, got a whole bunch of pictures, like the tiger skin that I put in. I go to my meshes, and it shows the different things I've created, like a home biogas system. Yeah, eventually. That's harder. My packages, I have a bear package I made, and that didn't work. Now my animation. So I have an animation called bear idle and bear walk. So I take the bear walk, and I copy the asset ID, go to my bear walk and paste that ID in there and hit enter. Now it's referencing my animation that I made. Then I go to idle and I do the same thing. I right click, copy asset ID, go and paste it in. Now I can save this, and now I can try to play it and hope I didn't mess up. We will see. So this is the moment of consternation, fear, and elation. Oh, I know it's not going to work. I know exactly why it's not going to work. It ain't going to work because I have no way to turn into the bear. I can still turn into the panther. The panther's working just fine.
Why you're not turning into, what do you have to do?
I have to create a proximity sensor from his script, and that is in the, I didn't look at the spider closely enough. The spider down at the bottom has a prompt, and at the bottom of the prompt it says proximity prompt, and it says change character for 1 second. So I'm going to grab that prompt, copy it, and where is it in the hierarchy? It's right underneath the, let's see. Yeah, it's not part of the spider, it's part of the spider morph. So it's under spider morph. That means I can paste it into bear animated morph and paste it into. Now, assuming the hierarchy was correct, a proximity prompt should show up, but it's not going to be in the right location right now, so I have to find it. It's way the heck over there. So you click on it and you go F for find. Oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. Let me go again. Click on it and go over here and say F for find, and there it is over by the spider, because I took it from the spider. Move it, not to the first bear.
Do you move it or copy it?
I move it.
Why?
Because I need to move it near the bear.
How can it work now for the spider?
No, it's a copy. It was a copy. But I didn't change its position. So this is just.
Like, you mean duplicate?
Yeah, I duplicated it. Now you can't see it because you're not supposed to, because it would interfere with the game. But actually, for now,
doesn't show. It's not on the bear. It's next to it.
it's next to it, so you can
So
walk
when you
up to it and
bump
change
it-
into it, right?
But it's gonna be always next to it.
Yeah,
Do
it
you
should be
make
because
them
it's a
as
child.
group or something?
I did, yeah. And I do want to be able to change the transparency so that you can actually see it,
Why?
because I want to be able to see it for right now so I can walk up to it.
Like it's like a light bulb or something?
Yeah, it just makes it easy to know how to find the bear, because I don't know where in the bear I'm going to hit the transform. So let's try it now. And then we'll go over it when you do it, now that I'm figuring it out. So I don't know why the tiger's freaking out. There's the bear, and there's the box that lets you transform. So you see when I get up to the box, it says change character.
Is the only way the bear can walk?
It doesn't work. It's not doing a transformation.
That was yesterday with the other ones.
So let me think about what's wrong here. It says prompt, and then it says bear animated morph. The proximity prompt. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. No, I don't. I don't know what's wrong at all. Let me look at the bear at the one that's in the tiger. The prompt here is under the tiger. The prompt here is under the bear, so that's okay. The prompt here in the tiger, which works, the morph script is there. The morph script is there. The bear animated. If we go to bear animated, it says parent is bear animated morph. That's okay. This is what I spent all last night trying to figure out. The morph script is fine. The prompt. Initial pose is humanoid animator. Parent is humanoid, which it should be. Animate is, that should be, animate parent is bear animated. The idle is that. The name, the walk is that. And you have the anim saved, but that shouldn't affect it. The bear animated has a mesh ID, and then he is name parent. Oh boy. What about that primary part? Primary part. Humanoid part is not a valid member of. Oh, it gives me an error message. Humanoid root part is not a valid member of model. Humanoid root part. Not a valid part of the model. So does it have to be in? Does it have to be in? Oh, how did I do it with the tiger? In the tiger, my humanoid part is right there. It's separate. So humanoid root part is not inside the bear animated. Oh, okay. It is in the same hierarchical level as it. So I have to bring it up to here. Now it's at the same level. Maybe that will work. The only other discrepancy is that I have a head in this and I don't have a head in that, but maybe that's not relevant. Let's find out. Publish to Roblox. Hit play. And you know, with coding, everything has to be absolutely right. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Oh, look at that. There we go. So he's idling about, and then when we walk, does he walk? Can he walk? He's kind of getting stuck. Now, why is he stuck? He's probably stuck because he's stuck in the grass. And so, yeah, we got to lift him up. So you go to the humanoid, and you move the humanoid's hip. Also, let me do an R15 rig. Maybe that'll make a difference. Well, let me just keep with R6 for now. It's 6 parts or 15 parts, and this has more parts than these simple characters. These are R5, rig 5s. So he's only got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts to his body. So it really should be a rig 15. And I can try it with that before I change the hips. Now move over. That tiger's having a messed up day too. Like, he's still having major difficulties. And you see how he's floating over there? The original bear, because it makes a copy. He's floating because his hips are messed up. So you go to humanoid and you go to hips. If we can find them. Is it in there? Sit, walked apart. You see hip height. Change it to like 6. And then hit play. And get on my face, tiger. Voila. Nope, not working yet. A little better, but he's still sliding there. So this bear is not in a good shape. So let's make his hips a little higher. Go to humanoid. Go to hips, 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 hips. I can find the hips. Why can't I find the hips again? Rig type. Hip height. I'm going to make it 9. And try it again. Much better. Look at that. So that's our idle animation. And there's our walking animation, which is really yicky because he hardly moves at all. But let's see. At least we've got him moving. So we can improve on the animation and just keep updating the ID. But at least he's moving.
That looks really good. What was the hip height changing relative to one of the 3 axes?
Yeah, it's when the bear was put down on the floor, the humanoid that I've used as a proxy that allows Roblox to see it as an animation basically looks like, and let me move over here if I can get this Silly thing to. Where's my noob? I need to go here to my noob. Oh, I'm still playing. That's why. So this character here has a head, arms, a body, and hips, and all of these little dots that you see in there, those 3 lines right here at his belt line, those 3 lines are the hip height. And the animations are calculated based on the hip height of the humanoid figure that is actually sitting inside the spider and sitting inside the bear, because Roblox doesn't know what you're trying to animate apart from humanoids. It wasn't made for custom characters. So the cheat workaround is to use a humanoid. See the little humanoid thing I'm circling here that shows this little character there? That
Yep.
humanoid is what you're actually moving. And if the humanoid's hips are too low relative to the size of the bear, then the bear's feet get stuck in the mesh of the ground and get caught up in all the grass that's moving here. And those animations start to mess with each other. And the bear starts slipping all over the place. And I was saying to Anas, we should have started without grass and just a flat plane. And she said, no, it's prettier with grass. I was like, okay, we can use grass. But the grass is a mesh. It has math. So it's trying to calculate the relative position of the hips with the relative position of the grass and the ground. And it's getting caught in there. So you have to tell it, no, actually in my bear, what I'm calling the humanoid part, which is this little pink block here, is actually way above the grass. That's why I put in that little pink part. And I also I violated something by not putting in a head, because actually and that's the difference, that bear has a head. This one here, I didn't even put a head in, and I should have put a head. They always ask you to put in a head and a humanoid part so the math goes better, and I didn't put one in. So technically I should go and make a part, click on part, take that part, and let me find it by hitting F here. Whoa, hit F here. I can call this head. Come on, let me click on it. It's not letting me. Okay, rename, call it head. Take that part and grab it and move it up into the bear animated model. It shows up as head. Take that head, move it into the bear's actual head. Because remember, this bear came in from Blender. This is not made by Roblox. So Roblox is trying its darndest to figure out, like, what are you trying to do, buddy? And so you have to give it something it knows, and it knows heads and hips. It doesn't know like clavicle and spine, and there's so many bones in these things, and it's just made for little Lego figures called Robloxians. So these great guys who are hackers have gone in and said, I would like to use Roblox to do all this more complicated stuff, and they're allowing it, and they host it for free. And I mean, I love Roblox. I even invested in their company and bought some stock because I so believe in them. But it's like for people to mess around and make their own stuff, and then they let you host it. So if I say that that's the head of my bear now, then the bear is going to be a little bit more understood by the Roblox program. But I need to articulate these joints. So I have to say humanoid and head. I want you to be connected and joined. So that's where the guy had me download this edit rig. Oops, I just lost it. I gotta do it again. Come on. Humanoid part, head part, turn on edit rig. And for some reason, edit rig ain't coming up. So tab, summon handles. What's going on here? Try it again. Humanoid part, head part, edit rig. Nothing. Alrighty. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Restart it? Sometimes this thing just breaks. Well, I mean, I can put it in without that, drop it into the humanoid, so it's a child of it. It doesn't even let me do that. That's weird. Okay, drop it in. Move it in. All right. It's in there now, but it's not joined. Is there a way to join it here? Join. Nope. What happens if I right click on it? Does it say join anywhere? Insert object, delete, rename, group. No. Didn't say anything about join. What if I say in here, is there any join? Part anchored, center of mass, root priority, massless assembly, line velocity, root part. No, so there probably is a way to do it without using this plugin, but I'm not seeing it. And anyway, it's supposed to be not inside. It's supposed to be part of the model, but it's supposed to be joined. And I don't know till I can get this edit rig to work. So what I probably should do is publish. Please select a model or tool to rig. Oh, it was working. It says select a model or tool to rig. So if I select here and go rig edit, there it goes. All right, sorry, I did it wrong. It was telling me all along down in the messages, please select a model or tool to rig. So now I've got the bear animated model. I can go humanoid part, then click on head, and then say create joints, and there it is, it's joined. Wow, okay, now publish it and hit play. Let's see if we get a better result. He lands on the floor, he walks up to the change character box, he becomes a bear. Yeah, that's smoother. That is smoother. Except now the head is sticking out of his neck when he turns around.
No.
Oh no! Ah! Look at my head.
Why won't you make it black?
I could make it black, but I'd just rather hide it. I want it pink so I can see it when I look at it like this. But I can go to the head and now go to move and move it over and then make it smaller. So I'll just scale it. And that way it's unlikely that it'll show up, especially if I'm like that. The head, and then just move it to the center of the head. Like that. And then even the humanoid part is not in the center of the bear, and it should be. Especially if I look down on the bear like that. So I've just created these dummy parts, really, that are controlling the bear. So let's move the head up a little bit more into the head. Oops, it came out of the head. All right, let's try it now. He fell over. Why did he fall over? He's falling over. Wow.
That's funny.
I know. Why is he falling over? What did I do to him?
With the head? Does it want you to?
It may be because I made the head too thin. So if I take the head and make it, scale it out a little more. Scale this out a little more. I did the same thing to the root part, didn't I? Let's see what this does. Okay. There we go. There. Oh, he's still sticking out of his neck, though. Just a little bit smaller based on that animation. Let's scale that in a little bit. Ah! All right. Now we have to go through this whole process again in the actual Rosebud continuum, now that we've tested it out here. There we go. Hey, bear. Oh, now it's sticking out of the other side of its head. Oh my gosh, and he's stuck. What a mess. Poor bear. So the head rig is definitely messed up. Take the head, scale the head. If we scale the head like this, and then the body, humanoid root part, scale it in like that. The head needs to be up toward the head, right? Come on, go up. So it doesn't move through the neck. Try it again. Oh, now he's falling over. Wow. Wow, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? If the head is there, and I scale the head, I'll just have to make it transparent, like you were saying. I don't have to make it black, I'll just make it transparent. Once the animation is working, then I don't care if it shows up. Like that's the head, it's a box. And then tell the head to be there, and then make the humanoid root part a little bit bigger. Oops, put that in there. Oops. Boy, oh boy. Okay. Now make sure it works. Yeah, he works. And the only problem is that it shows up because it's pink when he moves, but at least the bear is moving properly.
It's like it has a
yeah, he's definitely, the animation's not a good animation. But you would never see that once I go into that pink part and take the head and change it from pink to transparency of 1. Now ain't nobody gonna see it, so that's fine.
Why the head and the humanoid have to be that close?
That's just something they tell you that they have to have in them.
Well, why they have to be that close?
Close to what?
To one another.
Well, you want the body to be weighted sort of like either where the, well, I could move the humanoid part, if that's what you're saying. I can move it. It's not of him, I want the humanoid part of him. The bear animated morph. I could move the humanoid root part back because it's supposed to be the root of the bear. So yeah, that can be right in the center of the bear, its center of gravity. Maybe that will help. Bear. Wait, tiger. Yeah.
Is it floating?
Yeah, but he's supposed to be walking. It's just our walk cycle is really lame.
It's not floating on the...
That's his hip height. Yeah, you're right. He's floating.
You can bring him down and get to look more realistic.
We can, but if we do that, if we go to the humanoid,
He's flying.
he's flying.
On the ground.
If we do that and bring his hip height, say, down to 7, hope he doesn't get caught in the grass. Let's try that. This is what I was saying in us. This is this painstaking work that has to be done. It takes just a lot of time until you get it down to an art. So there he is. Does he look like he's walking? Now his feet are in the grass now, so he looks better, right? And he's walking, so that's a better hip height.
And also, it doesn't show flaws. as
Right.
much because it's by the, in the grass. So.
Right. Okay. In that case, it is now, I'm going to turn it over to you to put it into the other file. So when I go to Rosebud Continuum, we keep this file open, we should be able to copy paste it in. That's why you do your work in a test file, and then when you go into your actual place, you can copy it in. Is there something I can eat?
Yeah, you can come and eat like Nye invented the recipe for
Yeah.
tonight. So I was eating like Nye invented.
And you know, and just I don't know if Raymond's still there or not, but there's all sorts of tutorials on this. But our goal is to make our own, and I highly encourage everybody to do their own Blunder through Blender, Blunder through Roblox. Like as you're learning and experimenting, just screen record, and then you'll know what you did right or wrong. Grant permission for audio. I gotta remove all these audio things. All these are giving me all sorts of action items that my sounds are deprecated. I don't have permission to use these different sounds that I used to have because I got these assets from somebody else, which is another reason why it's good to make your own characters. If you do everything yourself, then you won't get these error messages, all this red here, all these sounds that I had, and I have to go looking for them. I don't know where all my sounds are. They're somewhere in the workspace, and there's so many of them, and it doesn't tell me. It says it's asset 1704 or whatever, and I don't know where to even begin looking for all of them. Even if I do filter workspace, it doesn't give me the asset number. Like if I put 155, nothing shows up. So there's all these sounds that I have to look and get rid of, and where they are, I don't know. They're caught up in models, and because I spent a lot of time. Look at all those trees I put in, cinder blocks, bags, flowers. There's all sorts of tons of flowers in here. So that's a whole nother thing. But the custom morphs folder that we had from GNOME code is here. And in that folder, I have the bear morph, the noob morph, the spider morph, and the tiger morph. But this bear here doesn't move. This one here doesn't move. I'm going to get rid of him anyway. This guy here is bear morph, and he's got all the stuff. I can move him around, but he's not animated. So what I want to do is bring in my animated, and if it works, I'm going to delete this guy. So look, I go to this one here, and I take our bear animated morph thing, and I say copy, and let's hope it copies all that information over, and then I come into the custom morphs folder and say paste into, and there he is, and he is on top of the solar panels. Good job. All right. So now I want to move him down to the area of the, where is he? Oh, there he is. He's underneath in the nether, or in the Stranger Things world. He's underneath the ground. So move him up and move him up until the bear is there, and move him back and move him down. He's good. He's good. Move him over here by the spider and zoom in on him. And there's the other bear. And there's his box. He's got his own box. I'm going to move him where this bear is, and then move him behind the bear. And like I say, I'll move before the bear. If he works, then I'm getting rid of that other bear. Oh, come on. Let me stick him in there. Okay. Move the spider over. All right, let's give him a try. I don't like where his change box is, but I'll leave it there for now. He's a bigger bear, so maybe I want to scale him down a little bit. He's too big.
Different sizes. Maybe a baby bear.
Okay.
Daddy bear.
Now, it may be that the IDs didn't carry over. That's my big fear. So I'm going to look at the bear animated and look at the animation, and idle is this, and it has these two IDs. I hope they're right. If they're not, I'll change them. Let's go ahead and give this a try before we save it. Let's see if it works. Moment of truth, moment of truth, moment of truth, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Error occurred. Failed to load sounds. I get that. The sounds are always a mess now. Like the sound of the incinerator. You know, it's well. There's actually a button I put in because I didn't do my scripting well. See, it's supposed to be that when you open this door, which you're supposed to be able to click on, I did this door that you can turn.
Yeah, but not the first.
And now the door is not even opening. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so you go and you touch the door, and it opens, and then you walk inside the incinerator. See that button? Because there's no stop button program doesn't work. So please there was so obviously I'm not a scripter, so God, I'm just learning all this on the fly. But it is cool that you can walk around and go up the stairs to feed the biodigester, and jump up on the top and look inside and see the fiberglass dome. And there's a lot you can do with teaching here. Solar panels up there. But let's see about this bear. So there's the bear change character box. Yep. There it is. He's got the animation. He is there on the landscape. He's sliding a bit when we have to change the hips, but at least his legs are moving a little bit. And if I hit run, then he can go super fast. Oopsie. Where did he go? There he is. Oh, he got caught in the shadows. Come on, bear. He goes, he sniffs out the garbage and he says, garbage can. What? Wait, there's no food waste there. What? Why? Bears love food waste. What? There's no... Let me look through my own eyes. What? There's nothing there? What? I'll eat this apple bar. Oh, I slipped on the ground. Oh, there's a banana peel to slip on. So it goes over there. And then he says, oh, I'm going to go over here to where the other family of bears are. Where's that family of bears? There they are. Hi, guys. Oh, look at you guys. Okay, cool. So, hey. And then he goes, I'm going to go walking down the lake. I love how they've rewilded Rosebud. Oh, I fell through the nether. Okay, I'm dead. The end. Okay.
Very cool. That looks really good.
Isn't that
I
fun?
like it. Yeah, that is. That's a lot of work, like you said, but at least you're not having to write all of that code behind the scenes.
And of course, what I've done here, and the bear gets to experience, is he'll try to get to Hale Road, and he'll run into all these cookie cutter homes that KB Homes wanted to build, and he's going to have a hell of a time. And that link you sent me, by the way, of the bear walking through that neighborhood,
Yeah.
everybody on the call loved it, particularly the Florida Wildlife Corridor Commission people. They were ecstatic.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's what we're going to be able to do, is show the bear walking through these neighborhoods and going, shoot, there's no food here. Oh my gosh, I need to go into this garage and get food waste. So people were pretty jazzed, and you gave me the perfect assets, Raymond. It was just the story. And I said that this is exactly what we want. Like, you came up with your own name for the bear. They were using M34, and I said, well, some people will play M34, but Raymond came up with Naya, which is flattering to us since our son is named Nye.
Wow.
And there's a lot of different, we want every kid and every parent, everybody who's playing with this to be able to, yeah, the name of the bear. Raymond did. He had this really nice, you'll see it, this really great write-up. But yeah, we can have billboards, and the bear can go and walk up to these billboards and say, for example, here I am flying, what? They're proposing to build 109 crappy homes here? That's so crappy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they're decimating our forests over here too, the same company.
Really?
It's sad.
Fight 'em.
Absolutely.
Fight them. They've already, we know the people because we fought them. Go to the hearings and just take your 3 minutes and register your concern and say, we feel that you're unimaginative, uninspired, that you're rushing headlong to the 1950s, that your developments are not accommodating the latest science, and they will freak because everybody's going to know that they said, oh, to the commissioners, we should be winning awards. We're one of the best environmental housing companies. And we're like, really? No, take them on. When are they going to court?
When are they going?
Yeah. When are the hearings?
That I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But it's heartbreaking. Every time I go on my bicycle, another section of the forest is gone, and they're moving in. They're
Yeah.
taking over.
So they're vulnerable because their rating is really low, and commissioners are beginning to see that they're not allies to the state of Florida. We just have to put a lot of pressure on them for sure. So that's what I want to do here is put in the signage and have everybody, developing the storyline, the arc story map that you started, and contributing different parts of their properties. Like you could do a Roblox thing, and then we could teleport there. Because in this, the bear, for example, let me just play it again, and I'll show you once it comes up. If it comes up. So this is just one of many worlds that I've created. If it comes up, if it comes up, if it comes up. There we go. I like the incinerator because it tells me the model is loading. So then let's go to Be the Bear again. And we'll race over to run. And race over by the solar golf carts and go over by the van. And no, the bear will topple the cart over. It's got too much mass. But here is a teleport to where? To Mercy College, New York. But I also have, if the bear could make it through the door, and it can't, let me go change into a noob because he's never going to get through the door. The bear's too big. So here's the noob. Let's change into a noob. Boom. Right, now you need to run, noob. Where'd they go? There it is. If a noob goes through the door into the classroom, and then in here, I have a portal that goes to, oh, well, it was going to USF, and now it doesn't go there anymore. Okay, that's really, really bizarre, because it was working last year and something changed, and I'm gonna have to go back and fix that out. Let me see if anything else, if it goes to Mercy College. Nope. Nope. Okay. Nope. All right, well, I can't teleport, but normally you can teleport. And I can't do that now. So that's sad. But the last thing I was going to do is get rid of the other bear because we don't need it. And then we can fix the animation in us. And then it'll play in this, because the ID will be the same, right? So when we go here to F to focus on it, and we get to that bear, we can take this bear, who's known as Bear Morph, and get rid of him. So this is the only bear that we have, that and the tiger, who should be a panther. I can change the panther's skin. I started making one earlier today, so that if I go to the tiger and go to the mesh, and then go to the mesh ID, to the texture ID, I can add there's a goat. I'm gonna make him a goat. There, look at that, see? Now my tiger's a goat. That's not fun. All right, then I don't want him to be a goat. I want him to be a KB Holmes proposal. No, it'll be food waste. No, I don't want him to be that.
Can we find the panther skin?
I don't know where you'd find a panther skin.
Did you look for some resources?
No, so I started making one panther texture. I took the tiger texture and I started to paint it because it's made for this mesh. And then when I go to the texture ID and I go to panther texture, why isn't it coming up? There it is. Okay, see, it's the panther with bits of tiger stripe in it. So this is just a matter of painting the actual tiger texture to look like a panther. No, how am I going to find a panther skin?
Don't want to.
You mean if I go to Google? I hate Yahoo. Why does Yahoo come up?
I know.
It's like a virus. If I go to Panther, people charge a lot of money for these things. Google.com. Panther texture. I mean, that's a spotted. It's not a panther. It's not a Florida panther.
Could you write Florida panther? Or
No.
what's it called?
Oh, you go to Florida panther texture. Nothing.
Is it, what's the color? What's the degree of just like between brown
Yeah,
and orange?
brownish.
Can you find like look for the color? What is it?
But I mean,
Just
what you
look
do
for
is,
the color
he's
instead of
actually a
the-
mountain lion, is what he is. If you actually look at the species, so maybe somebody's done a mountain lion texture. Yeah, that's what his skin is like. So yes, can I take this, map it onto him?
That
Yeah.
would look better than a
It's
tiger.
Shutterstock though, so it's not giving me. It's got weird Shutterstock images in there, but we can try it. Lion fur. I can try lion fur. Lion skin stock photos. I can try this and then save the image as and put it in Animodels. Wait a minute, where is it? Tiger blend. There it is. I can put this in and call it lion skin and then save it and then go to the character and tell it to go to the tiger mesh, find the texture ID, add an image, choose file, lion skin, create.
Oh, the face.
Yeah, I mean, see what you're gonna get, and it's not tiled properly.
Isn't it different kind of? This is not good.
No, it's clearly not good.
What about if
That's why the tiger so far is the best one for now. I mean,
for a different one?
choose file, tiger, texture. That's the one that belongs on him because it was made for it. But that's when you go into Blender and you open up the tiger and you zoom in on the tiger, which is here, and look at the texture. That's the tiger, and then you can go to it and say UV editing, select the tiger, if I can. Why is it not letting me select the tiger? Object mode. There we go. Now go to edit mode and select it. Then you see what the mesh looks like, and then you go to the image of the tiger, and you see that it's mapped onto it. But I sent that out, and what you then do is you go into a paint program like GIMP, which is the same as Photoshop, only free. I can't afford to buy software, it's expensive. So I use GIMP. It's a little more difficult than Photoshop, but it's just as capable. Open source, I love open source. And you say to it, look, I want to open the material base color of the tiger, and I already have one open there. And see, I started painting it, but I made a copy of it, so I still have the tiger. So I can turn this off, and I can make another copy of this, make a new layer from visible. All right, so now I have that. I can move this underneath, actually. Can I change the... How do you move it down? Move layer. How do you move the layer down? You can't move it. Photoshop would let you move the layer. Layer, scale, duplicate. How do you move it? Just don't wanna... Come on. Like this? Yeah, no, it's locked. I don't want to lock it. Unlock it. Move the sucker down. I don't know how to move it. Oh, I'll just turn it off for now and I'll work on this layer. So if I go into this layer and I say I want to make a brush, how do you do that? You can make a brush based on the fur that we had a second ago, but how to do that? It's a stamp, I think. Is that it? Brush. Edit, select, image, layer, tools, selection tools, color picker. You can actually paint with that texture. Clone tool. Selectively copy from an image or pattern using a brush. The question is how? So what I probably have to do is bring in that picture as a layer. Create a new image. What am I doing? Create a new layer. Here, edit layer, new layer. Make a new layer and call it lion skin. And then take that layer and import into it layer to image size. Import, export, maybe it's just open material, panther, lion skin. There's lion skin. Oh, but it did it as its own. So I have to somehow get this. But wait, I can clone it, right? So I go, did I do it? And then go back to this one and then paint with it? There's something I'm not getting here. You're supposed to go in here and you're supposed to be able to pick with the clone tool. You're supposed to pick a region. I don't understand how to do this. So you would copy. Go in here and paste this. Can I paste it in here? Yeah. But there's got to be a way to paint with this. And there is a way, I just don't.
You're gonna put it to where the stripes are instead of that, and you keep the white?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. If I could figure out how to do this. Well, maybe I have to use Control or Alt or something. There's some way to select this piece.
If this is similar to the paint application, can you use the eyedropper to absorb that pattern and then there you go.
It'll only absorb that color.
That one color, okay.
Right, so if I were to go back, exactly. And that's the problem. So if I go into, I have to actually merge this down. Merge, why is it not merging? Urgh. But you're right, no, it would, how do you make this merge down? You just go anchor layer, delete layer. No, the merge is there, but it's not doing it. It's like I have to hit something, like I did it. I hit something, but that doesn't work. Save the changes. Save the changes. Oh, I ended up closing that. Okay, open this up again. Open. Material XCF. So there it is, but it's not letting me. I just don't know this program well enough. I know what it's capable of because I used to do Photoshop. But yeah, this has got to merge down in here. Anchor layer maybe? There we go. I anchored it. So that's what it needed there. One could do a reveal, but see when I pick that color and then I go into the visible layer that I want to mess with, all I'm doing is painting with that color. So that isn't what I want to do. I want to be able to grab this with the clone stamp tool and just trying to think what is it like Alt, Control, or because we should be then able to, oh, I did it. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you
I don't know what I did. I did Alt or something.
are. Alt control.
So now I'm painting with the,
You're gonna paint it. Let me do it.
okay, you're gonna do it.
I mean,
But keep his face. That's his face over there.
I can't see very well. Can you
We
make
can
it
zoom it in.
bigger? How you make it bigger?
Go to image, no, view, and then go show guides, navigation, zoom, and go zoom to 400%, and then you can move around like that. Or we can zoom out. I think if you zoom out, I think you just do control. No, you don't. It doesn't do that.
This is big, isn't it?
Yeah,
The thickness, isn't it?
the thickness is big, so you have to change the brush size, which is here. Change it down to like 29. Yeah, and then you can.
19.
But also the view has got to be. What is view? Right here. View zoom. Okay, they have it. They have a thing for zoom. It's just the plus or the minus. So you really can just go like this.
Make it a little bigger.
All right. Let's shift to go up. Wait a minute. Why is it not? The plus is a different key. There you go. All right. So yeah, you can paint it like that.
It's gonna take some time.
Well, make it bigger. For those big parts where there's stripes, just make the brush bigger. Over here under size. So as you can see, Rainer, this is like very technical, but I think if we make tutorials, because most of our time is lost trying to figure out how to do certain procedures, and there's only a handful of procedures that you need in these complex programs to do what we want to do, to create landscapes, to take Blender GIS information.
No, this is so big.
No, it's not for here. It's not.
It's 114. How much was it?
It's a nice texture. So
Yeah, that's turning out nicely. But you're
Yeah.
right, creating tutorials with the basics, the foundation procedures in video that people can go back and refer to would be
Yeah.
very helpful.
So I document these blunders I do as I learn, and then I'm writing a script now I'm pitching a class to be developed with Innovative Education that I'll develop in the fall. That is of the people, by the people, for the people. So it's called Sustainable Design for Sustainable Productions, and the dean has approved it and Innovative Ed has approved it. So we go into development in the fall, and it basically involves me creating with the students, whether they're in class or not. I mean, you're welcome to be part of this and have your name on it. It's creating these tutorials that are really snappy and quick and fun, that say, here's how we take your neighborhood and put it into Roblox. First, go to Blender, then open Blender GIS. Then, it just shows you step by step. Click here, click there. Bang, your neighborhood is done. Next thing, here's how to create your animal avatar for what you'd like to play in your game, right? And it just shows you bam, 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 bam. And then Innovative Ed will do the Intrigos in their massive new LED studio, the Mandalorian studio that they have, and the green screen studio. And I can invite students to be on camera with me, like, here we are putting on our Oculuses. Let's go see what we can see. It can be like really like one of those Nickelodeon things. And I just got the green light today, so if it's something you're interested in, by all means, because you'll learn as you go. I mean, I was saying to Inas, what jobs are there really now that ChatGPT-4 has come out? I don't know if you saw the announcement. Did you see what's happening with ChatGPT-4? Just came out
I
yesterday.
just know that there are a lot of people out there that are relying on that IA to do a lot of their homework.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. ChatGPT-4, we looked at the demo yesterday. They gave it a picture of a cartoon of a squirrel taking a picture of a nut with a camera. It was a black and white cartoon like Gary Larson. you know, one of those, those really ironic cartoons that they used to have of like a bear hunting people and putting their butts up on the wall. So it's one of those black and white 1990s type cartoons. And they asked ChatGPT, what's funny about this picture? And it looks at the picture, which it's never seen before. Somebody from the audience sent it in. He just sent it to Discord. And it says, humans will find this funny because normally non-humans don't take pictures of things. They don't know how to use a camera or use such tools. And why would it be taking a picture of a nut, which is a food source? It can't eat the picture. So humans will find that paradoxical and therefore funny. And then somebody sent in a picture of a painting of a man in a suit of some kind crawling on his hands and knees down a mountain. And on the top of the mountain, there's an object that looks like it's at a wrong angle. And they said, what is this picture about? And ChatGPT says, it appears to be a spaceman who's been injured crawling on his hands and knees in a desert, and up on the hill is a spaceship that crash landed. And that's exactly what the picture showed. But ChatGPT wasn't trained on it. Somebody just sent that picture in that they had made. And then the guy takes a napkin and he draws out a rough sketch of what a website could look like with like 4 or 5 sentences of what it should do. And then ChatGPT looks at that napkin sketch that the guy brainstormed and makes a website out of it that works perfectly well.
You've got to be kidding.
No.
That's almost kind of scary.
It's very scary. And then he says, now I'm gonna upload 16 pages of the new tax code in, and then he says, ChatGPT, I have a hypothetical couple, Bill and Mary. They've been married for 7 years. They just got divorced. Bill moved out to a house on his own. They have a child that is held by the mother. He's age 14, blah, blah, blah. What's their tax liability for this year if they made this amount of money each doing such and such? And ChatGPT shows the steps of his calculations and say their tax liability is $24,000 and it can be paid in installments this way. And they showed it to a tax accountant and he goes, God, he's right. I mean, it's right.
He?
Yeah.
Did he really say he? I mean, it?
No.
Oh, no.
ChatGPT's right.
No.
It's crazy. What'd you do with his face? Oh, it's still there. And you're keeping the white parts, right, for the belly? Just get that part there where the paw is. Keep the paw white, but go down there and... Yeah. Somewhere the ears were there, but I don't know. Yeah. Those ears, yeah, it's good to keep them. And then don't mess with that. Let's just try it. Let's zoom out.
No. It's still showing here, no?
We'll have a tiger's face, but...
Let's try to... Can you zoom it?
You like, no, wait. Undo. Oh,
Why?
shoot. Because I wanted to get that. Yeah. Leave that whiteness.
Here? Yeah. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah. That's under there.
Zoom in.
And then you have to move in. Oh.
What is that?
It's zoomed in too much. Oh, you're not on your thing anymore. You're in Zoom. Go back to your brush, which is the clone brush. There you go.
It's not doing it.
It's not? Shoot. Okay. Let's see if we alt-click again. Nope. Was it alt-shift-click? There it is. Okay, so it's Control-Alt. That's what we have to document. Control-Alt-click. But yeah, no, within the next few years, all industries are going to be using artificial intelligence for the labor part, but they're not going to be using it for the design except as an ally. And I think to teach people enough about these tools that we can make a mock-up of what we want, and then we'll all be saying, hey, ChatGPT, can you now create this Roblox game? I've set it up. These are the characters. These are the meshes. And then it'll spit out the code, and you'll just load it in, and you'll have the game. Because it's all based on templates.
What is making black sometimes?
Because we snipped it. It's actually, when you snip, doing Control-Alt, if you don't snip in the center, it actually snipped some of the black. See what I mean? It's like the edges were there.
Oh, right, sometimes.
Yeah, because it's actually picking this area up. So what you do with a clone tool is you pick an area that you want to do, and then it's taking that area, and if you keep moving down, you're going to go all the way down the map, down to that black part there. So you have to be very judicious where you choose from.
This is funny. It's just.
So that part, that stripe isn't any good, but I think what we should do is we should grab this fur here, clone that, and then come up and do that for this. So we don't get that tiger stuff in there. And then as for so that fur was the tiger fur that we cloned. And then I know there's still all this to do. So I'm going to clone this, Alt Control, and come up, oops, and see it, that's what I messed up. So it's going to keep, you have to keep cloning and go in and then do the same thing, like pick a piece where there's a lot of space around it. Because you can see it's actually showing you what it's drawing. See over here? Yeah. So whenever you're doing it, you have to pick a place that you want to clone that gives you the range of motion that you want. Otherwise, you'll end up in the black. There's part of the face over there, which is really weird. That's why you do clicking instead of dragging sometimes, because then it keeps doing the same space over and over. That's the claws, I guess. I don't know what this is. But we can. And I want to do this part again to get rid of the stripes. I like that texture there, though. And then click and get some of that. Oops, that's not it. It's this we want, the panther. That's right. That's part of the tiger there. And part of the tiger here. Beyond hairs, I don't know what this is. I think his foot, probably.
Tail.
Yeah, I hope it maps on right. It may not. And then we have to go back and do it from scratch. That's not terrible. It's, again, this part here. Oh, but you got to get the face. Should we just try it now and we'll go back to it and just see how it. It'll have a tiger's face, but it'll be a panther.
No,
Although, if you want to work on it, then let's make sure we save it. Zoom in. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom. Okay. It's really pixelated.
Yeah.
And then take the size down. You have to click on, oops, that's the wrong thing. Click on this, Control Alt. You don't really see the texture at this level of granulation.
But at least you don't. You kind of see something on the sides.
Well, and the panthers have this black thing going on the side of their nose, which we'd have to emulate at some point. And they don't have white eyes either. They have like black around their eyes, don't they? Let's see. Mountain lion. That's actually Florida panther. Face. A Florida panther's face. It looks like that. So you have a little bit of white, but it's the cheeks, then it's all white down there. So it's not like we can grab this white fur here.
You want to know when is this coming?
He doesn't have those stripe things there. But what does he have?
Down under the eye. What is this blackness?
I don't know, but I'm not going to mess with it unless you painted that by mistake.
Maybe.
If you did, because...
Let's see it's on it.
Let me make the brush a little smaller. Oh no. I need to go back to Control Alt here and then... I don't want to lose all those pixels, you know. It does look a bit more like a panther though. Where's the picture? It's got such green eyes. Wow. And he's got this black thing. So this is going to take more time than we're willing to devote to it. Yeah.
Let's just see
But
how
his
it
mouth,
goes.
where did his mouth go? Like,
Down. Yeah.
no, where? It's over here somewhere.
Let's see,
Ah!
let's see how it looks. So we need to fix
I
it.
just messed up. Undo
Yeah.
clone. How did I get this thing rotated? Ah, no. How did I get the rotate? And it won't let me do the undo. Undo history. That's all clone, clone, clone. But where's the rotate? Oh, shoot. How do you? I rotated it by mistake, and I don't know how to. Image, precision, transform, rotate, arbitrary rotation. Yeah, look at that. The whole. I rotated the whole canvas. No. Undo transform step. How did I end up doing that? Readjust. Reset. Nothing. Seriously? How did I do that? Because that's funky. Is that true of everything here too? Yeah, the whole thing is rotated. I don't even know what that is. Like visibility. Is this just the visibility? The view? Is it flip and rotate? Center image and window? View, flip and rotate. Somehow it's at 352 degrees. I want it to be back at 360 degrees. Ah, got it. All right, so that's his, oh, I did it again. Seems like when you hold the shift key down, you get these weird.
But you don't have to save after that.
No, I know. Flip and rotate 0 degrees is fine. So I don't know what I did. So I've got to go in and plus, plus, plus. This we didn't do. Go back to my clone tool, Control Alt. Because that part of the back is going to be really funky.
Let me do that.
And his tail too. That looks like the underside of the tail, which I think should be white.
White?
I think so. I don't know.
This is gold?
Yeah.
All of that?
This is called UV mapping because you have X, Y, and Z coordinates for horizontal, vertical, and depth. And then you have UV, which are other letters of the alphabet. Don't go over that. And then do this part here. For unwrapping.
This? Or no?
Let me do Control Z. Okay, here you go. Click. Okay. So you have these.
White?
See, you're going into the black. And maybe you did that with his nose, for all we know. By mistake. Let's just find the.
Is there any very obvious? Yeah, we down to here. These are very obvious type, I think.
That's his heel, I think. Oops, I did it again wrong too. Gotta go in here and pick, and you should really just click on it. If you click, you'll never move. It's when you paint that you end up in trouble.
What is faster?
It's faster, yeah. But,
As if you're doing this.
yeah, pointillism. Oops, I did it again. I know, I always do.
Is there more?
Also, you get, if you don't do the strokes, you don't get a good.
These are okay. This one.
Yeah, but let me get the rest of this face here. Wasn't there a face over here somewhere?
Yeah, it's a little down there.
Where? Where is it? But where's the other part of his face?
It's down there. Moved.
It's down here?
This zoom out. Yeah.
That's the one part of his face. Where's the other? There's a whole section of his face missing.
I thought I saw a section on the upper left-hand corner if you zoom out.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, maybe I didn't zoom out enough. Oh, you're right. Yes, thank you. There it is. So I've got to zoom in here. There we go. Transform a tiger into a leopard. I mean a panther. Oh shoot. Control Z, Control Alt, select, and let's get some of this to be free. That's his snout right there, right? Well, this is probably a worthwhile point to try to look at it and see how it maps on, except for that part there.
Yeah. This could be white.
That'll be white, yeah. Oh boy.
Yes, obviously these ones.
What would you do with them?
Gold.
Gold. So those are his paw claws, right? So you think those are stripes and not claws?
Could be claws.
It's how it unwrapped that makes it kind of funky.
No, that's the smartness.
But
Maybe that will do some kind of architecture and open a building or something.
do you know how people used to, what they used to use this for? Back in the old days of video games? There were tutorials you'd see, and it was called skinning, and they'd change the skins so that you could have whatever clothing you wanted in your game, so you didn't have to wear a costume. But then there were the whole groups of people in The Sims who painted the bodies to look naked because they wanted to take the clothes off. So they put a naked skin, and they would make these, they'd have to unwrap the person, and then they have to draw where the eyes would be. And so it's about, your brain cannot possibly think this kind of Mercator. This is why maps are distorted. So this is good though. This is save this, and then what you do is you only export the visible layer, and you export it as a JPEG, not a PNG. So we would call it Panther Skin TH Nas Raymond, and then we'll know which one it was from which session. It doesn't have any file name extensions. You have to give it an extension, JPEG, and then say OK. And export it. It should be show preview in the image window. Export. And now go back to Roblox and go to the texture ID, add an image, choose a file, moment of truth, panther skin, create. Let's see what it does. Aha, wow. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's a little bit, the texturing is a little bit too coarse. But it looks more like a panther than like a tiger now.
Oh yeah, that looks good. She just needs a good brushing, brush out.
Right? The face is not exactly panther yet, but we can get there. But
I think it doesn't need the whiteness for the face.
Yeah.
No, but maybe up, like not too
Right.
here.
But I mean, I think it's good, and I think like I'm going to save this and publish it, and then see what happens, how it looks when you play it. And of course, we have to do the same thing with the bear. And oh my gosh,
the bear is black, right?
yeah, but the bear, they have white faces, so there has to be a texture for it.
The bear has white.
Yeah. So at least it looks more like a panther. It's very big. I can shrink that down. It's not too bad. See my idol, his mouth moves. I mean, it's not great, but there's a part of the shoulder that still looks like a tiger. It's where he got injured or he was beaten by another cat. But that's kind of fun. And the thing is, anybody can come in, and then you can have as many bears and tigers walking around, whatever you choose. And my animation's kind of stinky for that. So I can stop that. I think we have some measure of kind of success. We've learned a lot. The only thing I want to do is see what happens when... Oh, and you know what we could have done here is we could have made those hairs smaller. You know, we could have, I don't know exactly how you do it, but you'd have to, when you do the clone tool, you'd have to set it so that the image that you're using tiles in differently, and there's got to be some setting that allows one to do that. I just don't know what it is, because it has, like, the source is the image, but it also has angle, force. Gee, there has to be a way to multiply, burn, overlay, divide, merge. There's some way to make the hairs smaller, and then it would look much better.
Could you have zoomed out further away from that image before you absorbed it, captured it?
That's an interesting idea. You mean, so if I were to, if you make this really small...
Right, your original image that you took the fur from,
the lion
if you
skin.
zoomed out, then grabbed it. There you go, now zoom out. Can you zoom out from that?
Not zoom out, but I think what I could do is I could take it and make it a lot bigger. I mean, a lot smaller.
Smaller, there you go.
Right, so if I did that and I said to it, image, precision, transform, canvas size. Maybe it's the canvas size, or maybe it is just the image dimensions. So if I were to resize the layers, just this layer, so I'd have to get rid of, I don't want to resize that layer. So I would resize this all visible layers. I don't want to fill it with the foreground color, I don't know. But you're thinking, like, if I were to bring this way down, this should be linked actually. Oops. Why is it not? Maybe if I put this at 100. Yeah, like that, you mean? And then you hit, oh, no, that didn't work.
Oop, that, yeah.
No, that didn't work. Not at all. And then you say shrink it, and then double click on it. What does that do? Isn't there a way to file, edit, select, image, transform, that's rotation, image, canvas size, crop, scale image. That's probably what we want. And then make it like 250 by 250. Oh, crap. Well, the answer is there's a way to do it, and I don't know what it is. But there is a way to do it, and we just have to learn it. Because it should be scale image, and it should be, you should be able to go 250 by 250. Ah, I did it. But I don't know what that does. No, that scales everything. So, no, the answer is it can't be done that way. But somehow there is a way to do it. And you write, and then probably it would paint out. Why is it not letting me rescale it? There we go. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, I think that's what we have to do, and then paint it at a smaller scale.
A lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work until we figure out the procedure. But a lot of the work is just stumbling around trying to figure out how do you do this? How do you do this? Once we have the procedure, it'll be sort of like click on this, then do that. Painting takes a while. But and then with the animation, then you keep open your other character place where you're doing your animations, and you can then change the animations by going back to the animation editor and loading in. If it'll let me, there it is. Rig error, multiple parts will share the same name. It doesn't like that, huh? Okay, that's weird. Oh, that's the wrong bear? Or is that the right bear? That's not the bear, is it?
It's the one with pink.
Yeah, it is the one with pink. So it's just telling me that there's a bear animate morph. I need to go to bear animated, and then I need to go to animation editor. Select a rig to animate. Contains multiple parts which share the same name. That's weird, but we already had an animation there. What if I open this up? Or open up animate. Why isn't it? So now it's giving me errors because it says there are multiple parts that have the same name. And I don't know how it could have multiple parts that have the same name. I just don't understand it. Let's see what happens when I go to the... Now that one shows up, that's fine. This one doesn't have any animation. The tiger shows up fine. And the bear is giving me problems because it has parts that share the same name. What parts share the same name? Head, shin, thigh left initial, thigh original. I don't see anything that has the same name. So it's having problems. It says bones decimated, composited, original, 17. There's nothing that has the same name. They're in alphabetical order. 18 original, initial, original, end original, head initial, original, head composited, head end original. I'd have to look through and find all these until we find what has the same name. Maybe a way to do that is to filter the workspace and type in like hand, see if there's anything that is the same name. Hand R end, hand L end, and R end. Yeah, I don't know what it's talking about. Lower arm, thigh, upper arm. They shouldn't be the same parts of the same name. Bear animated. Lower back, spine, neck, clavicle, left, right. Bone 17, bone 18. Clavicle, upper arm, lower arm, hand left, clavicle right, upper arm right, lower arm right, hand right, hip L, thigh L, shin L, foot LO1, hip R, thigh R, shin R, foot R, head.
What's he looking for?
It says it has parts that have the same name, and it doesn't like it. And I don't see anything that has the same. Oh, head. There's two things that are called head. So what if I call this head B? Now will you let me do it? Yes! Yes! That was the problem. Looky there. Alright, so now if we want to change our stupid animation, the walk is what was particularly offensive. And you say load bear walk. Load bear walk. He ain't walking well. So his left leg really should go farther forward. And this leg should go, oops, whoa. That reaches forward really well. And then on the other side, when we get to the other side of the walk, it's only a 3-second, that's where these legs really need to shift forward. I mean, it still stinks. There's so much to do with this, but at least it's a bigger walk, and I think his head here shouldn't be so turning so much. So we'll have to spend hours doing this. I just wanted to see if I do save this as and publish it, is it giving me a new number? Or maybe I shouldn't have republished it, because if I ID copy that and go into the animation, we have to learn about that. Like, what do you have to save it every time and republish it, or you just save it? I guess it needs to be published or it wouldn't know what it's doing. But for the walk animation 1659, yeah, it's a new animation number. So that's where we need to spend time, is developing the animation until we get it right. Oh, great. Now he really falls over. Oh, he falls over because he no longer has a head. Oh, lordy. So it made me, I changed the head. I need to call this then head B. And now I got to re-weld it, right? Because it's not going to know what to do with that, maybe. And then inside the poses, or inside the mesh, what I called head B has got to be called head or something. I mean, there's something.
But you have to change it.
Well, he's got a head, so here's the thing. Maybe I should get rid of this weld and get rid of this head. And maybe I should go to the humanoid root part, turn on edit rig, and tell it that I want the root part to be welded to the head bone. It won't let me create a joint. It's supposed to let me create a joint, but it's not, because it's not the same. Well, let me see what happens if I just get rid of the head. Because it's already got a head bone. Yeah, so I didn't even need a head, because he has a head bone. Now the walk cycle still stinks, but at least yeah, it's a really crappy animation. All right, I think we're done for tonight. We've learned a bunch, right?
Consistency.
Yeah.
And what does it tomorrow?
Yeah.
How things sing, because I can't keep things on. Actually doing over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not all these functions.
Oh yeah, you just have to keep at it and at it and at it and at it.
I can.
All right, we're calling it a night. Thank you for being with us and cheering us on and giving suggestions.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting watching it come together. It's a lot of work, but it's really neat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Good night and best to your family.
Good night.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Night.